there, my little bumblebees. Bzzz. Look, a book with a bumblebee. And look, it has an A-B pattern. Yellow, black. Yellow, black. Yellow, black. That's an A-B pattern. Pretty cool. There's even patterns in insects. There's patterns all over. I hope you start looking for them. All right, so this is called Insects, a picture book of insects. I'm learning about insects. What insect is that? Does anybody know? It goes. That is the field cricket. That's a cricket. Crickets are the musicians of the insect world. A male cricket sings by rubbing its wings together. So they make that funny noise by rubbing their wings together. A female, which is the girl, which cannot make the noise, listens for the male song to find a mate. Sometimes crickets go into houses and sing there. Did you ever have a cricket in your house? I have. You're like, where is that noise coming from? We've even had them in our classroom sometimes. Some people think having a cricket in the house brings good luck. Most crickets live in fields. They eat grass and other plants, but they like to eat insects once in a while too. So that's a cricket. Oh, we know this one. That's the one from the front cover. That's a bumblebee. This is a bumblebee. There are different kinds of bees. This one, the big fuzzy one, is a bumblebee. Other ones are honeybees. They're the one that makes the delicious honey. But this is a bumblebee. Bumblebees like to drink a sweet liquid called nectar that is inside of flowers. As they crawl around the flower, a powder called pollen sticks to their bodies. The bees spread pollen from one flower to another as they eat nectar. This is important because plants need pollen to form new flowers. Late in the summer, male bees called drones mate with the young queens. These queens crawl into the ground to sleep through the winter. Then next year they'll wake up and start the cycle all over again. All right, so bees are pollinators, and pollinators are very important in the world. If you didn't have pollinators, we wouldn't have any fruits and vegetables. Oh, we know this one. This is Elliot's favorite. Anybody remember? Did you say praying mantis? You're right. Remember we saw the baby praying mantises coming out of the egg case? This is a big praying mantis. This is what they look like at the end of the summer and the fall. This insect got its name because it holds its front legs up so it looks like it's praying. These legs are very strong and covered with spikes and sharp hooks. The mantis uses them to catch insects and small frogs. Did you know they could eat frogs? Sometimes a female will even eat her mate. Sometimes the lady eats the man. Animals that like to eat praying mantises often have trouble finding them. Mantises are usually green or brown, the same color as branches and leaves. When a mantis sits very still, it looks just like a twig. A praying mantis can turn its head farther than most other insects can. It is one of the few insects that can look over its shoulder. That's why they look so intelligent, because they move their heads around. Oh, we didn't learn about this one yet, but we did talk about it a little bit. Anybody remember what it is? It's like Freddy. That's a hint. Freddy is a bearded what? Bearded dragon, and this is a dragonfly. A dragonfly. An old story says that dragonflies will sew your lips together while you sleep. Isn't that silly? Because it looks like a needle that you sew with. For this reason, they are sometimes called darning needles. My grandmother always called them darning needles. But this story is not true. In fact, this large, beautiful insect is only dangerous to smaller insects. As it flies, it holds its legs underneath like a basket to catch them for its dinner. A lady dragonfly usually lays her eggs in water. The young nymphs hatch a few weeks later. A nymph has no wings. It lives in the water for 1 to 5 years, while its body grows and changes into an adult. But an adult only lives for a few weeks or months. Okay, so they have a long life cycle, but most of it is in the water. Eee. Anybody know what that is? Anybody know what that is? Yes, that's a wasp. And wasps, see that right there? That's their stinger. Youch. If you get stung by a wasp, you'll know it. It hurts. Have you ever seen a large nest of dried mud on the side of a wall or a large rock? You are probably looking at the home of a mason wasp. Female mason wasps mix their saliva is another word for spit, with bits of clay or mud to build their nest. Inside the nest are small spaces called cells. After the female builds her nest, she places food inside the cells. Then she lays one egg in each cell and leaves. The clay hardens and protects the eggs. As the young wasps develop, they eat the food their mother has left for them. Pretty amazing. Yee, does anybody know what that is? Take a look at it. They look very big in this picture. They're really very small. That's a mosquito. Anyone who's ever gotten an itchy bump after being outside in the summer has met a mosquito. Only the female bites, all right, so the ladies bite. She stabs her victim's skin with a needle-like part of her mouth. Saliva, remember I said that's like spit. Saliva flows into the wound to stop the blood from clotting, while the mosquito drinks. She drinks your blood like a vampire. The saliva is what makes the skin itch. The word mosquito is Spanish for little fly, but this little fly can cause big problems. We may think of them as just annoying pests, but in some parts of the world, mosquitoes can spread very serious diseases. All right? Some mosquitoes, they bite you and go crazy. I bet you know what this one is. It begins with a G. Begins with a G. G. I'll show you there's a picture on this side too. See, that's what he looks like when he jumps. It's a grasshopper. Just like crickets, grasshoppers make music by rubbing their wings together. Grasshoppers and crickets are part of the same insect family. You could say they're cousins. A grasshopper gets its name because of its amazing jumping ability. It can leap about 20 times the length of its body. If you could do that, you could jump over a house. Grasshoppers and farmers are not very good friends. This insect eats plants, including very important crops. Sometimes huge clouds of grasshoppers will swarm across fields and meadows, gobbling up every plant they find. All right, so even though grasshoppers are kind of cool, farmers don't like them because they eat the plants that they're trying to sell to us, for us to eat. Ooh. I showed you one of these yesterday. See? Bzz. Bzz, 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 bzz. Anybody know what it is? Yep, it's a fly. Some people call them a housefly. Have you ever wondered how flies can walk upside down on the ceiling? The answer is they have very special feet. The bottoms of the housefly's feet are covered with sticky, hairy pads. These pads keep the fly from falling off the ceiling or sliding down slippery surfaces. A fly's eyes are special too. They're so big they cover almost all of the fly's head. Each eye is made up of about 4,000 lenses. This type of eye is called a compound eye. Because each lens points in a slightly different direction, a fly can see the slightest movement. That's why it's so hard to swat me. Do you ever try and catch a fly? They always get away. Flies are dangerous because they spread disease. They're also very hard to control. A female can lay up to 100 eggs a day, and some young flies are ready to start laying eggs just 3 weeks after they hatch. All right, that's why there are so many flies in the world. Who likes to eat flies? I know people don't know. What animal likes to eat flies? You know? Yeah, lizards might eat flies. Very good. Frogs might eat flies. Maybe praying mantises eat flies. Think about it. What other things might eat flies? And so they're a good source of food for some people. Well, some animals. All right, do we know what that is? I have one of them over here too. Look. Ah, it's a great big one. What is it? They're not this big. What is it? They live under the ground. They're ants. See the word? A-N-T, ant. They're ants. Think of a community whose members all have special jobs. Some members are soldiers, defending their home against enemies. Others are nurses, caring for babies. Still more gather food or build new places to live. This sounds like a description of people, doesn't it? But it also describes ants. Ants are great at working together. They talk to each other by tapping each other with their antennae or feelers. And if one ant discovers some food, it will hurry off to find its friends, leaving a scent trail along the way. The other ants follow the trail and help carry the food back to the anthill. Ants live in what's called colonies. Colonies. Whoa, we know this one. Ta-da! What is it? Remember, Maylin? It's a ladybug. How many ladybugs do you see? Quick, count them. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 ladybugs. In the late 1800s, long time ago, California's orange and lemon crops were in danger of being destroyed by insects. Ladybugs were sent to California to help the crop because they like to eat other insects. The ladybugs did their job and saved the trees. These helpful beetles, also called ladybirds, are among people's best friends. They eat so many pests that farmers sometimes use them instead of chemicals to control insects that harm crops. So the next time you see a ladybug on a plant, leave it alone and say thank you. Nobody ever kills a ladybug. They're very nice little insects. And they're good because they eat the bad bugs. Ah, pretty. What is it? Yeah, I saw Amy. She remembered the sign. You take your thumbs, hook them together, and wiggle your fingers. That's butterfly. There's an orange one, yellow, ooh, even red. These beautiful, delicate insects seem almost magical as they flutter from flower to flower. And the story of their lives has some magic in it too. A butterfly starts its life as a tiny egg. Soon a caterpillar, or larva, hatches and begins to eat leaves and all the other parts of the plants. A caterpillar eats a lot before it's ready to become a pupa. The pupa covers itself with a hard shell called a chrysalis. Inside the chrysalis, great changes take place. In a few months, the chrysalis cracks open and a completely new creature, the butterfly, crawls out. Very, very fun to watch. Last one. This insect comes out at night. Only at night. Well, it's out in the daytime, but you don't see it. It comes out at night and it lights up. Has anybody ever been outside and seen an insect that lights up? Do you know what it's called? When I was a kid, we called them lightning bugs, but they're called fireflies. That's a firefly. Isn't that pretty? Have you ever seen tiny bright lights flashing in your backyard or in a field on a warm summer night? These lights are made by fireflies, which are also called lightning bugs. Each kind of firefly flashes a light in a special pattern. See, that's what they look like. And then when they fly, they light up. And you can catch them. When I was a kid, we used to catch them and put them in a jar and then bring them into our room at night and then let them go the next day. All right, I hope you liked learning about those insects. We're going to learn more about insects. Make sure you watch your video today. There's going to be new videos about insects. I want you to learn all you can. But what do we know about all insects? They all have how many legs? 6 legs. Very good. They all have 6 legs. And how many body parts? 3. A head, a thorax, and an abdomen. And what are those things on top of their head called? Antenna. Think of an ant. Antenna. Antenna they have on top of their head. And some of them can fly, some of them have wings, but not all of them. And some of them are very good at camouflage. All right, we're going to learn more. Pay attention.